Are we ready to? Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's been about a month since we've had our last meeting, so we got a lot to get through. We're going to start our regular meeting for the Township of Nipigon Council for January 9th, 2024. We'll start with our land acknowledgement. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Corporation of the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and the township further respectfully acknowledges the historic presence of the Métis people on these lands. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest this evening? No. Okay, we'll get to the minutes. 2A, approval of previous council minutes of January 9th, 2024. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Okay, so this is resolution 14-2024, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Hart, that the regular council meeting minutes for January 9th, 2024 are hereby adopted as recorded by the deputy clerk. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, so next we have 3A finance, confirm and approve accounts. This is resolution 15-2024, approved by Councillor Westhaver, seconded by Councillor Sakamoto, that the payment of accounts is listed on the following payment voucher B and the same is hereby confirmed and approved. Payment voucher number 3, 2024 in the amount of $81,520.73, and payment voucher number 4, 2024 in the amount of $357,168.99. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, finance B, provide for interim tax levy and payment of interim taxes bylaw. This is resolution 16-2024. Moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that leave be given to introduce a bylaw to provide for an interim tax levy and the payment of taxes for the year 2024. That the bylaw be read a first and second times, that the said bylaw be read a third time, finally passed and numbered bylaw number. Do we have a number? It's not in the resolution.
No, there's not one.
Okay. What should I put down? You'll okay. Finally passed as numbered bylaw to be announced of the Township of Nipigon. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, Public Works. Public Works Committee minutes of January 24th, 2024. Are there any points of discussion on the minutes of Public Works? Okay. And then we have some recommendations here. So I'll read the recommendations out. Resolution 17-2024, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Westhaver, that the minutes of the Public Works Committee on January 24th, 2024 hereby accepted with recommendation A 2023-1014 approved, which is that the Marina Boat Launch fees be approved as follows: residents daily fee of $6 and seasonal fee of $40, and non-residents daily fee of $8 and seasonal fee of $60. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, Township of Nipigon landfill policy revision. So we have the schedule of landfill tipping fees here. And this is, Shane can just ask, so that these are the tipping fees that you're recommending? That's in here? Okay. Is there any discussion on this? Okay. Resolution 18-2024, moved by Councillor Hart and seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that this council hereby approves the landfill policy revised February 2nd, 2024. And I just wanted to mention I noticed it says 2023 on the note, but just if you want to change that on your thing. That this council hereby approves the landfill policy revised February 2nd, 2024, with the updated user fees as stated. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. 5A, planning, draft comprehensive zoning and property standards bylaw amendments for storage containers. So we have the draft here. And we have our bylaw officer here in case there's any questions. Do we have any questions or any discussion points on this? No? Okay. So this is resolution 19-2024.
No,
Oh,
there isn't a resolution.
oh, there is a resolution, sorry.
No, this is just for information.
Oh, okay.
It's just a draft.
Yes, and we would have to have a public meeting before
Okay.
passing the two bylaws.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, so we will, there's no discussion on that, so we'll move on. Okay. And we're on recreation 6A. So this is recreation committee meetings of January 22nd, 2024. And we have a resolution to approve with one recommendation. And I'll read that out here. Is there any discussion on the minutes, by the way, before we move forward?
Sorry to interrupt. I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that you knew that. So there was going to be two amendments there. There was one amendment to the property standards, and the second one would be to our zoning bylaw.
Okay, so we're going back to the, okay. So the first one is the property standards, the 25.3,
Yes.
and the next one is the zoning or the
Comprehensive zoning bylaw.
bylaw, okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we're back on the recreation minutes. Anything to discuss? Just gonna see if I had some notes here. I was kind of surprised to see, so there's a bit here to ask the OPP to come out for some of the tournaments and games, and because it says there's vaping, smoking, and drinking in the arena.
I can address that.
Yeah,
That came up at the meeting, that there is some, and it's getting to the point where they're being destructive in the bathroom and stuff like that, because they crowd into the bathrooms. And they brought up maybe, and I encouraged to potentially maybe look at, do the OPP thing, which I guess they were there recently and lowered some of the incidents, but also potentially looking at vape detectors for the washrooms specifically, because they're going in there and vaping. And when you have 3 or 4 people crowding in one stall, you have damage. And that includes, they're getting into some of the unlocked locker rooms and such as well. So.
And these are young people, like, during like midget games and all that?
Even during the day, like that's the thing, but heavily during the games. So that's where that was all coming from, and
I was just surprised to hear it was happening inside the arena.
yeah, well, it's,
Councilor Rossi. Sorry.
so I mean, it's something that you gotta look at. To me, is the damage being done gonna be cost effective to maybe put some of these detectors in? Because vape detectors are a little more expensive than your regular smoke detectors. But if they're causing, they take out $1,000 worth of toiletry or something like that, then paying a few $100s for a vape detector is well worth it.
Why would the vape detector stop the damage?
Because as soon as they start vaping, it goes off like a fire detector. So you know that they're in there. Whereas right now, nobody's checking on the washrooms on a regular basis.
Yeah, well, maybe to prevent the cost of the vaping, maybe we can have some kind of a.
Yeah, it's just something to
part
think
of
about.
the attendance duty might be just to run through there and make sure things are.
Yeah, and that's where like I said, having the OPP down there as a presence during junior B games and some of the other games is actually a positive stretch as well, both for community and for that kind of activity.
Yeah. Counselor Sakamoto.
Just understanding the process. So if the committee thought that the detector was a good idea, would that be a recommendation in future minutes?
It was not
Or
really,
is it just a small enough dollar value that the committee
it
could
was
decide? to
just
go
brought
ahead
up
and do it?
about ways of counteracting that, and the first wave is the OPP presence and getting that down there and seeing what can happen there.
Counselor Westhaver?
How long would an officer be tied up watching this, overseeing that?
Well, that's during the game, but it's at OPP's discretion. If they have more important things to do, they're gonna be doing more important things. But I mean, it's like I said, in talking to the sergeant, you can do more community outreach and stuff like that by going to those things.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a double whammy with you. So, but it would never come at the cost of something else. More,
Basically just letting them know when those
Yeah.
games are happening, and if you're available,
Exactly.
then have a stop, come and stop through, yeah.
and the Vapors won't know which games are coming to or not. So
Yeah, so I'll just comment, it's nice to see there was lots of, people coming out to the bonfire and the ODR. I saw people were actually skating. I think that was the last day that the ODR was in operation, so
that was the last advice.
that's good. And then there's the family day thing happening, which a sliding event, but I think now it's gonna be a skating
Yeah.
event inside, the arena. So that's good. Yeah, so lots of great one-off events. I'm hoping we can get some more, like regular programming at the community center. So, having one-off events is great, but something, we have the hockey, we have the curling. If there's something that, the committee has to suggest for, I'm just examples, like, I know it's hard to get these things going, but like gymnastics or dance or something, that's a regular program for young people or for adults, then, that would be great. So, but yeah, congratulations to the committee and to Kristen for getting these events happening, because they're well attended, which is great. Okay, so resolution 19, 2024, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Hart, that the minutes of the Recreation Committee of January 22nd, 2024 are hereby adopted, and the recommendation that anyone 18 or over attending shinny at any level is required to wear a CSA approved helmet. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, bylaw enforcement. So we had asked our bylaw enforcement officer just to give us an idea of what he's been up to over the last little while since he's started in July. So we have a report here of all different kinds of issues that he's been dealing with, and grass cutting seems to be the top, which is good. So there's a variety of issues here, and does anyone have any questions for Dennis since he's here? Councillor Hart.
Are you levying fines right now, or are you just these are more warning kind of things, or just discussions, I should say?
I would say that warning is more like a reminder, and everyone but one was
Okay.
resolved.
Okay, that's what we want.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Councillor Westhaver.
How about the property cleanups? Are everything okay with those?
I think across the board, there was one unresolved, so there may have been one ongoing, I can't remember,
There's one ongoing.
Okay, so one ongoing, one unresolved, and the rest were resolved, so I mean,
Good job.
So there's over 30 incidents, or not incidents, or complaints or
Yeah.
issues that you've dealt with since the beginning of July, and all but a couple have been resolved. So that's good. Good work. Okay, EDC 8A, new special events intern. So this is 20-2024. Resolution to move by Councillor Westhaver and seconded by Councillor Hart. That's half your signature. I think that's your signature. Is that
Yeah,
you?
it died
Okay.
off.
That this council hereby approves the hiring of Simran Sidhu for the special events intern position. All in favor? Opposed? carried. So welcome to Simran, and I'm very happy that that position has been filled because it's been open for quite some time. So welcome to Simran and look forward to working with her.
Yes.
Councilor Westhaver?
Maybe that's the person that would get, what you were suggesting earlier, some programs going over at the arena on more regular basis, I guess. Get things, if she's going to be doing things like that for the job, amongst all the other things she's doing.
Yeah, she's got her plate full.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next on our EDC, we have some committee member applications. Okay, yeah, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 applications. Does anyone have any discussion about Councilor McKenzie?
You know, perhaps we could, we could defer that because, and then maybe I'm speaking out of turn because I'm not on the Economic Development Committee, but, you know, we're gonna be doing a strat plan. And perhaps, once we figure out, you know, the focus of the strat plan, then the Economic Development Committee, you know, with their input, can focus on that. It's just a suggestion, just because our strat plan is gonna be coming out in July.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, I'll give members of the public a chance to, you know, to participate and give their views and what they'd like to see.
Yeah, when the EDC, when you have the strat plan, the EDC works along those lines, but it's also other stuff that comes up at EDC as well. I mean, it's an idea generator is what it is, and then coming up with how and where and stuff like that as well. But absolutely we'll be adopting this that sometime.
Strategic plan?
Yes, the strategic plan and the recommendations within that. And I'm hoping they give, the strategic plan has a lot of really good, well, not a lot, but enough really focused ones that we can push forward.
Linda?
As being the staff member currently on the EDC committee, I feel it's important that we have the additional members right now because they've been declining, people moving and stuff going on. So I would really like to see them be able to get started right away so we can, there's still things that need to be done, and waiting until July to have a meeting, I don't think would be good. I would really like to see us continue. It's been 2 months now that we haven't been able to have a meeting, so.
Okay. Do you wanna, I think maybe we should go into in camera for this portion, because there's names that are involved here that just need to be discussed. So I think we'll defer this
Okay.
resolution to in camera, because we do have an in camera session tonight. Okay, next, fire department, fire chief recommendation. So this is to attend a conference in May in Mississauga. So does anyone have any questions about that? I just have a question. Is there a budget in the fire department for things such as this, or is this an extra cost for the town to?
It would come out of the operating budget. Yeah, we could probably have some discussions about that.
Councillor.
I see in Ryan's message that he says the total estimated cost is unknown at this time, but slated to come out of the fire department training budget.
Okay.
So suggesting that there's some money to cover this. I think the 3 people that he's asking to go are quite reasonable, the chief and the
Yeah.
new deputy chief, and John Mydell has been there to fill in. I think they're 3 important people.
I was just wondering if this was their budget, like sort of why it would be coming through us to approve it.
Don't know that.
That's
Yeah, I don't understand.
okay. So this is 21, resolution 21-2024. Moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Hart, that the recommendation from the Nipissing Volunteer Fire Department Chief to have Fire Chief Petrie, Deputy Chief Fleeson, and Captain Maydell attend the Ontario Association of Fire Chiefs Conference in Mississauga on May 1st to 4th, 2024 be approved. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, and then we have a board member from the library who is unable to continue with her duties. And there's no resolution or anything. It's just for information for us. So okay, and then we have sundries. I didn't skip anything, did I? Okay. Tend to skip things. 2024 Roma Conference report from Councillor McKenzie. Thank you for doing that up, Councillor McKenzie, because I was not looking forward to it. So thanks for doing that for us. Is there anything you'd like to say about your report?
Okay, thank you. It's pretty well self-explanatory. There was one item there regarding procurement, and there's an organization called Canoe Procurement that perhaps we might want to investigate. And I have talked to others in our township that, you know, we don't want to, we want to make sure that we do support local suppliers where we can. But I know, having talked to the Canoe people, like if we're going for a major appliance, like a piece of heavy equipment or something, they have a big grasp and a big, you know, a tent that we could probably get really good dollar bang for a dollar. So I was gonna just suggest to council that perhaps we could have our deputy clerk and maybe Shane, our public works superintendent, just to have a look at it, you know, think and see if it's worthwhile. If it's not, if they don't see any value in it, well then I'm good to.
Councillor Second.
I noticed that at NOMA as well, and I've been asking about, I think it's a good idea to look into it as well. And they did mention that sometimes some of their contracts can include local people as well. So I think it's worthwhile for us to look into, and maybe Linda already knows whether we looked into it.
I was gonna say Shane may want to comment on this.
So I had a webinar with Sarah from Canoe. So it is non-for-profit, so it is free to join. So we are an active member of Canoe now. So we have access to their whole support system already.
All right.
So that's just, they have buying power. As Shane said, it's a nonprofit, so they have buying power that they can, and they deal in brand new equipment, right?
Yeah.
Not used equipment. That's another difference. So, which is good because it's good to get a.
Some of our suppliers are actually part of them already, so we'll see kind of what the difference is in rates that we already got compared to what we're gonna get with Canoe.
So you just started this recently?
About 2 weeks ago, yeah.
Okay, it would be great, like even 3 months, 6 months down the road, if you can let us know how it, whether it's good or not, that'd be great.
Yep.
Councillor Hart?
My only concern is some of the smaller geared stuff that is available locally. A lot of these places like that, they basically remove any buying, they won't buy from local. So that's the only thing. But large stuff, not a problem, but it's the smaller stuff that might be available local, that if
That's
you.
essentially what it is. It's all large stuff. I haven't really seen anything.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, is if it's all large stuff. then
Vehicles and stuff like
Yeah.
that, and heavy equipment stuff, yeah. I don't think they would bother with like paper and.
But that's where you get a lot of, like, the school boards and stuff like that. You can't even deal with them unless you're Canada-wide.
Mhm. And you can choose to go with them or not for certain things, right? So you don't have, just because you're
Yeah.
signing up doesn't mean you have to buy everything through them. Yeah.
So what are the prices like?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
I don't think they have a shopping list. I think it just depends on what you're getting, yeah. Okay, does anyone have any other questions about Councillor McKenzie's report on our Roma conference attending? Okay. All right, thank you for doing that, by the way, once again. 11B Parks Canada lease. So Parks Canada is looking to supply and have installed a level 2 Tesla charging station at the old town hall building on 25 Second Street, which is where they're currently leasing. And will be leasing probably for the next 2 years while they're constructing a new administration building. So Parks Canada will hire a certified electrician to install the level 2 charging station and will pay for all installation costs. When Parks Canada's lease is expired at 25 Second Street, the Tesla charging station will become property of the township of Nipigon. Councillor Hart.
I'd like to know where it's going in relation to the building. Like the building has potential for certain things in the future, including potential retail. I've looked at the building myself. But depending on where the charger itself goes, is it like a wall hanging charger, or is it like, what are the requirements of it? And is it under the same sort of contract with Tesla as the ones at the Tourist Information Center?
It's not a
So if
contract?
they will own it, like
Okay.
yeah, our Parks Canada.
Yeah,
So.
so it's not one of the big giant ones, it's more of a
Mm.
plug-in.
No, and it's actually just for one of their supervisors
That's
that
what I
will
was-
just be coming down. Not often, like maybe a couple of times a month.
Is it one of the, do you know if it's the ones that don't just take Tesla, they take the other electric plugs as well? Is that what level 2 is? Or
I'd have to,
whatever it is they say?
I know what
Okay,
you're
I'm
saying.
just curious.
Yeah, that would be part of the question, like what it takes, because I'm not sure if the level 2 or level 3s are the ones that'll take other vehicles. So,
Councillor Sackmova?
My concerns go back to our asset management plan, which we haven't finalized. All of the buildings that we currently own are on there. That building looks like it's in need of maintenance and repair, just by glancing at it. If we're gonna have to do some hard number crunching in the future to decide whether we keep that building or whether we just can't afford to keep and maintain that building, do we really want to be tied into another Tesla charging station? If we're not going to keep the building? I think there's questions that need to come first before we can respond to this.
Okay,
yeah,
Councillor
Yeah,
McKenzie.
Didn't Linda just address that? Right? It's not gonna be like at the Tourist Information Center. It's gonna be just a charging station like you would put in like a house.
at a house or something.
It says that it'll become the property of Nipigon Township.
Yeah.
So I guess seeing the contract, because the contract up there says we have to keep that.
But there's no
going.
contract.
This one won't have a contract?
No, that's
She
what,
just
that's
said
what,
there's
yeah,
not gonna be a contract.
there's no contract, they own it outright.
So it's not gonna be one of those big
No,
fancy
it's gonna be
things.
just a home charger. And just to say off-site too, if they're gonna be putting that, they're probably gonna be upgrading some of the electrical within the building itself, which is actually upgrading the building.
And who would be doing that?
Parks
Parks
Or
Parks
Canada.
paying
Parks
for-
Canada, they're paying for everything.
Sorry, Councillor McKenzie?
Yeah, so anyhow, yeah, thank you for explaining that, Linda, because those are my questions. I had similar questions to Glenn. I mean, it's gonna be an asset for the building, right? If we do that, so. I think I would support it in that case.
Especially if it's one of the ones that takes all the chargers.
Yeah, I think I would tend to agree if there's no contract and there's no giant thing in front of it and it's just like and they're gonna have to
Yeah.
redo. So if, you know, in a couple of years, if we want to sell that building to have a developer do whatever they want with it, housing or whatever, it might be a plus to have that charger in there.
And the electrical upgrade would definitely be an asset for selling, or something, like if it's what I think it is, like I really need to see what.
Want me to second that?
Okay.
I don't want a big giant glowing red thing next to my bedroom.
Yes, Suzanne.
Okay, go ahead. But maybe that, it might be a good idea though to, if Councillor Sakamoto, if you wanna have Linda and like find out any
Yeah.
answers to any questions you might have
Yeah,
about any.
because we really haven't talked about the state of our facilities yet.
Okay, resolution 22-2024, moved by Councillor Westhaver, seconded by Councillor McKenzie. That this council approves the Parks Canada agency to supply and have installed a level 2 Tesla charging station at the Old Town Hall building located on 25 Second Street, Nipissing, Ontario, which is currently leased to Parks Canada agency. Parks Canada will hire a certified electrician to install the level 2 charging station and will pay for all installation costs. When the Parks Canada lease is expired at 25 Second Street, the Tesla charging station will become property of the Nipissing Township. In favor?
Could I just ask a question?
Yeah,
When does that lease up? You know?
I think it's 2 years, yeah.
So probably right after the final build down at the arena then.
Mhm.
they'll all be moving down with us. Yeah, that's the reason for the building, so. Charging station will become property of the Nipissing Township. In favor? Show of hands. Opposed? And carried. Okay. Enbridge Gas. This is a long one. Resolution 23-2024, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Hart. Securing access to natural gas for community in Ontario. Whereas access to natural gas is important to residents and businesses in our community, affordability and reliability. Whereas the OEB decision on phase 1 of the Enbridge Gas 2024 rebasing application issued on 21st of December 2023 has concerning implications, including putting into question the future access to natural gas that support economic development, affordable housing growth, and energy reliability in communities such as the Township of Nipissing. And whereas Ontario is growing in access to affordable energy, growing in access to affordable energy to support this growth for homes and businesses is crucial and is a measured approach to energy transition, as not having access to natural gas will stifle economic growth and put housing and energy affordability at risk. Whether be it resolved that the Township of Nipissing supports a measured approach to Ontario's energy transition, and that the Township of Nipissing recognizes that there may not be enough electricity available to replace the energy provided by natural gas and meet the increased demand from electrification. That natural gas must continue to play an integral role in meeting the energy needs of Ontario. The Township of Nipissing supports the work the Government of Ontario has done to date, including the natural gas expansion program and electrification and energy transition panels call for a clear policy on the role of natural gas to secure access to affordable energy. That this resolution be circulated to the President of AMO, Colin Best, Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Honorable Todd Smith, the Minister of Energy, Honorable Lise Bourgeois, Member of Provincial Parliament for the riding of Thunder Bay Superior North, all regional municipalities as significant actors to ensuring the need for natural gas in Ontario as part of a measured approach towards energy transition, and submitted to municipal affairs at enbridge.com. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Whew. Okay, next, just for informational purposes, we have the top of Lake Superior Chamber of Commerce minutes from January 9th and February 8th. Do we have any comments on this? Okay.
I have lots of comments.
We'll move on.
They never sent the information, so I could log in and attend the February 8th meeting, so
Okay. Anybody else?
that would have been interesting.
11E, Red Rock Indian Band Little NHL sponsor request. So this is a request from the Red Rock Indian Band to support the kids that are heading off to the Little NHL, March 11th to the 14th. Does anyone have any questions about that, Gordon?
Yeah, Linda, like, we have a policy for donations. I was just wondering what the policy is for donating for children, like for events such as this? Is there a dollar figure?
There is.
Yeah.
But off the top of my head, I don't. know
Okay,
what it
but
is.
well, it'll align with the policy. What the-
Yes,
if
But,
that
you know, just to
approves
let
this.
everyone know, we
Yes.
do have a policy that, you know, for contributions like that.
And we do have a lot of Red Rock Indian Band members that live in our
yeah.
town, and our taxpayers and the kids off the reserve come and play for Nippigan Elk, so this is a good fit. Resolution number 24-2024, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor McKenzie. That this council directs the staff to provide a sponsorship to the Red Rock Indian Band Committee, assisting with providing their youth the opportunity to attend the 50th Annual Little Native Hockey League. The sponsorship will be vital in covering essential costs like travel, accommodation, team equipment, and tournament fees. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Next, we have a plant-based treaty. We have one signature on this to support the plant-based treaty. Do we have a mover? No. Okay. Okay, we'll just, and then. And just to let everyone know, it was basically just, to promote plant-based diets and things like that. So we don't have a mover for that, so we're just gonna move on. Thunder Bay Municipal League, resolution 2023-06. So the Municipal League, this is in a nutshell, to express the importance of utilizing flashing lights on all stop signs and highway construction zones. Which is important. Is there any discussion on that? Okay. Resolution number 25-2024, moved by Councillor Westhaver, seconded by Councillor McKenzie, that this council hereby supports the TBDML resolution number 2023-06. All in favor? Opposed? All right. Okay, so other municipal resolutions, this is CONME resolution. And this is basically that an elected official an elected local government official be disqualified from office upon conviction of a criminal offense and must resign. So basically, I guess there isn't a policy right now, a provincial policy that prevents someone to run for and be on council if they have a criminal record. So this is to support having a policy that prevents those folks from running for office in the municipal setting. Do we have any discussion on this? We have a mover, but we need a seconder.
Issue I would have with something like this are all the people that have been caught with criminal records due to marijuana possession over the past 50 years, which is now legal, but still technically they have a criminal record. I would personally have to have that narrowed down a lot more than just a general.
Yeah, there are some things that people get a criminal record for
Yeah.
from their teenage years.
Exactly.
Yeah, without any kind of
Yeah.
specified. I mean, I could see if it was like a violent or
Yeah,
Yeah.
like certain crimes and financial
Mhm,
crimes.
financial,
stuff like that.
yeah.
But
yeah, organized crime or something like
Yeah.
that, but there's no specification as to what the criminal record would.
Yeah.
It didn't come up in my training for council that if there's any legalities or there was even that policy.
Okay, so we don't have a seconder for that, so we're moving on. Bam, okay, provincial cemetery management support request, Hay Township. So again, this is a bit of a long one here in the package, but in a nutshell, it's, from my understanding, it's that if the township no longer owns a cemetery, that it should,
It goes in default.
if it goes in default, that the province would help out so that someone can't just buy the cemetery and do whatever they want with it, which sounds a little scary, actually. Didn't know that was possible either. So that's resolution 26-2024, moved by Councillor McKenzie, seconded by Councillor Westhaver, that this council hereby supports the Tay Township resolution during the December 2023 council meeting regarding the provincial cemetery management support request. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, we're about to go into closed session. So I just wanted to go around and ask if there's any other business, and we'll start with Councilor Hart.
We're doing a lot of changes at the landfill for stuff. I would like to see maybe some initiatives for composting or even taking recyclable wood and stuff like that, and maybe think about or doing something with that end of stuff going into the landfill that can be reused specifically or created in a compost. I know other landfills and stuff are doing that, increases the life of them greatly, and it gives back to the community. And whereas you don't have the salvaging to go into the thing, I know that when there were people doing it, I mean, you could produce lumber, like an enormous amount of good quality lumber. Just using that as an example. So I'm just thinking that maybe we should start looking at that as well in the near future.
And bring that up at a public works meeting.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah. Councilor McKenzie, I'll go in a row.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to, boy, I mean, like, we've got some pretty big news this week, right?
Mhm.
$37 million worth of Parks Canada money coming in to build a center for us, a visitor center and administration building, and I think it's fantastic. I mean, the best news I've heard, and since I've been here, and I've been here a while, and you just think of the spin-off effects, not only for tourism and for employment and those type of things, but also like there's a term, and Linda can correct me if I'm wrong, but Parks Canada will eventually be paying like a tax, paying in lieu of tax, because technically the township can't tax a provincial or federal agency. But we'll probably get between $50,000 and $100,000 in PIL money from that particular project. So it's really good news all around. And I know former councils have worked very hard to get that in place, and former staff have worked very hard to get that in place, and had a lot of support from the public. So I think it's kudos, excuse me, it's finally happening. Right?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Westhaver.
Yeah, just a comment on Glenn's. I know Thunder Bay for years has been doing, they have maxi grinders that go to all the townships, and many of the dumps they grind, compost, they grind different materials that is different piles, and use it for landscaping and other stuff like that, but the gardens, and people can come buy that compost even. So I think it's a good idea to look into that.
Okay, and that's
That's
your
it.
comment? Okay, Councilor.
Actually, on that note, if we had a chipper grinder, could probably use it for some of our deadfall trees around town too, because that's an issue, trying to find somebody to dispose of the wood. Yeah. That's it.
Um, I just want to second what Councilor McKenzie said. It's been over a decade that this has been talked about, and it's been actually worked on for quite some time, the building down at the marina. So I know that there's been a lot of negativity around it because it's taken so long, but it's happening, and it's super exciting. And I just want to acknowledge the manager of the park, Lisa Nyman, and she did put in a lot of work this year, having to get that all finalized. So kudos to the staff, and kudos to the former councilors and staff as well for getting prepared for that building and the coming of that building. And there's going to be a lot of economic development in the next 2 years alone for the construction and everything, and a lot of spin-offs there. So that's pretty exciting as well. And yeah, and aligning with that, we're talking about charging for launching fees at the marina. I know that we've talked about having those fees going towards improvements to the marina. We all know our docks are in horrible disrepair, and I know it's just a drop in the bucket for the docks, but with more people coming down to that marina and locals, really needing to have better docks down there and better infrastructure, all marinas charge for launching fees, and we're the only ones that don't. So we're just aligning ourselves with the other communities, and I think it's a positive thing to be able to bring in some revenue to help with improving the marina. And I just want to say quickly too, congratulations to the library and the library board for putting on the Super Bowl. Was it last week? Fundraiser, and it was great and delicious, and it was wonderful. So that's all I have to say about that. And we're gonna go into closed session, resolution 27-2024, moved by Councillor McKenzie, second by Councillor Hart, that this council resolve in a closed session under section 239 of the Authority of the Municipal Act 2001 to discuss a position plan procedure criteria instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on being planned. And benefit of the municipality of Wilkes-Barre 2001. All in favor?